an introduction, and then we'll go around, and I'll just call on folks as I see them here is probably the easiest way to do this. So I'm Eric Goodman. I am currently the acting chair of the Pedestrian Advisory Committee. My civic association is the Bluemont Civic Association, and I've asked people to share what's worked well and what hasn't with snow clearing since I guess our snowfall in on January 25th. So I would say I give mixed reviews to the county and also to I guess folks that have been clearing their areas. I think pretty quickly a lot of the I guess county areas that I walk by and a lot of the um, um, I guess businesses had done some clearing. I wouldn't say it was great, but I would say they created a path. It is in many cases it's been rather narrow. So if somebody has a mobility device, a wheelchair or a electric scooter, electric wheelchair, anything like that, there's like no way in most cases for them to get through there. If people are able-bodied, there certainly, for the most part, I saw that there weren't problems. But there were, in some places, there were places where just snow was dumped. I guess what they call the Ballston wetlands, which used to be called the Beaver Pond. At one point, the county, or I assume the county, cleared that all the way down to the bottom of the hill, and then there was a huge snow pile, which people had to either scale or go into Fairfax Drive into oncoming traffic to be able to walk towards the metro. So I would say, in my mind, mixed reviews. This was a tough snow because it quickly became ice, and I cleared out actually a couple crosswalks, and it started out very heavy, but sort of manageable that I could actually move it, but it was extremely heavy to the point where you had to take a chisel to be able to break it off to clear things. So it has been a challenge for lots of people and the county. So I would say wasn't an easy snow, but I would give it kind of a C in terms of overall how well things were done. I think the advantage really is the earlier you would clear things, the easier it would be, because once it all froze up, it was like, as they say, snowcrete or sleetcrete, as I call it. So all right, so let's move on. I guess I'm going to go across my screen here, and I'm going to start with Pam and
Hi.
just move across.
Hi, Pam Van Hine. I'm the recording secretary for the PAC, and I live in Aurora Highlands. And it's been a mess here. I'm glad, Eric, that you mentioned the difficulties for people with disabilities, and I count myself among those now. I use a hiking stick to get around, but I also use my rollator sometimes. Thank you, Andrea. Uh, I have neighbors who have not left the house because they literally can't go anywhere. And many of them have, mobility issues. And that is something that we need to put in writing again to the county manager and in some of the strategies that it has to be accessible for everyone, especially for major routes. I had to get to the metro and get down to GW for healthcare. It's not something I could postpone, and there was no way to get from my house to the metro. There was just no way. So I sent a message to our county manager and explained the situation. There were cleared parking lots, one for the library and community center, and then beyond that, there's one for Virginia Highlands Park. But there's this area between those two lots that has sidewalks underneath all the snowcrete, but I could not cross that. So he contacted DPR and DES, and they took care of that. They actually did a wonderful job in Virginia Highlands. They did all the paths through the park. They did all the sidewalks around the park. And once there was a sidewalk on Hayes, once you left the parking lot, the second parking lot, you can cross 15th Street, little problems, but the commercial area on Hayes between 15th and Army Navy was great. Metro was open, the escalator and elevators were open, so that was all fine. But overall, the commercial areas in our area were pretty much fine. The River House was great. Met Park and Amazon, great. By the shopping center, great. But once you get into the neighborhoods, it's not that people didn't shovel their sidewalks, they did. But then the snowplows just pushed everything into the intersection and made these snowcrete snow mountains. And that for somebody like me, I cannot get over them. And there's lots of people like me who can't get over it. And then it's something that we really need to push the county. They need to do something about the snowplows. So that's it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. All right. As I said, I'm going to go across my screen, and I believe David Patton is next on my screen.
Oh, I'm David Patton. I work for the county as a transportation planner. I live in DC, and we had the same thing here. I hardly left the house for about a week or 10 days. And I saw one young gent doing public service and clearing a crosswalk and a curb ramp. And I nearly rolled down the window. I was driving that day. I nearly rolled down the window and said, "Hey, good job." But then I thought he might give me the side eye, say, "Why don't you get out and help me?" And so I didn't. I had my hands full back at home. It's a challenge. I think the committee's right to put your eyes and your thoughts on this issue. It's a real challenge, and there's no easy solution. It's good to have it on the agenda and help other people realize the scale of the issue.
Thank you, David. Next is Peggy Jones, and thank you for coming, Peggy.
Oh, you're welcome. I'm Peggy Jones. I live in the Halls Hill Highview area, 2 blocks from Virginia Hospital Center. I drive everywhere I go. The last time I was out of my house was when I went to a Commission on Aging meeting on the 2nd of September, the 2nd of February, and the roads, like Glebe Road, was single file instead of double. Some will be double, some will be single, so it was a lot of merging and unmerging. It was very difficult to drive, but once I got to the parking garage, I was fine. And then that's the day that when I came home from my meetings is when I went out to put my trash out and fell on the ice. And from there, I was in Virginia Hospital Center. And I didn't get out of Virginia Hospital Center until the 5th of February and have been homebound and under doctor's care ever since. So I've been trying to make as many meetings as possible virtually. I'm not in a condition to be seen at this point in my sight, so bear with me. But the roads around Highview Park are still with a lot of snow, snowbanks, but George Mason Drive has been cleared to a great degree. It's passable to Langston Boulevard. So I can say if I had to drive to CVS or Harris Teeter or Safeway, I would not have a problem. Parking was fine. It was just trying to go down the Glebe Road was where I met all of the obstacles.
Thank you. Yeah, Highview Park also has some very steep streets and very steep
Yes,
sidewalks. You could
exactly.
end up from the top of the hill to the bottom of the hill pretty quickly there.
And the sidewalks aren't that wide anyway. That's the problem. So most of it was filled with snow. So a lot of people had to walk in the street. So you had to be careful when you drive in the neighborhoods, so no one will run over you.
Well, again, thank you for coming. And are you going to be our, I guess our at this time our continuous representative for the Commission on Aging?
Yes.
Okay,
Right.
great. Are you going to come, just your thoughts? So typically we do have virtual meetings. Are you going to try and come monthly or quarterly, or how do you have thoughts on how you will attend?
Well, right now, I will be doing virtual meetings
Mhm.
because of the condition I'm in. And once I am mobile and I am pushing on those physical therapy exercises, because I'm not a person to stand still. I like to get out. So I'm trying my best, and I'm hoping that I will get a good report tomorrow when I see my orthopedic surgeon. And he will say that, well, in a week you'll be all right. We'll see.
I hope.
So I don't know what the at this point I do not know what your meeting schedules are. Do you have monthly meetings or?
We do have monthly meetings. They're 90% virtual. Once or twice a year, we have been having an in-person meeting. Sometimes it's been a joint meeting with the Bicycle Advisory Committee. But usually, I mean, typically we're on the second Wednesday of every month.
Okay.
But when we have joint meetings with the Bicycle Advisory Committee, it may be on our date or it may be on their date. Theirs is the first Monday of the month.
Okay. And it's always 7 to 9?
7 to 9, typically, yes. Yeah. Um, Sometimes we finish a little early. Most of the time we fill our time, but
Oh,
yes.
okay. Okay, because I'm an early riser. I get up at 5 and I go to bed kind of early. So I will do my best. Okay.
Well,
I promise I will be a good a good person.
that's appreciated. And if you do have to leave early and come for the first half of the meeting, just let us know if you have anything you want to share with us. We can certainly accommodate that.
Okay, will do.
All right.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you. All right. Next is Andrea. Uh, I don't know why we don't hear you, Andrea. Oh, you're coming through. Um,
Arlington.
Oh, Andrea, you're awfully broken up.
Oh, I'm sorry. Um, can you hear me at all?
Yes.
We just heard you perfectly when you asked that question. So whatever you did worked right there.
Andrea, it's back to very, very choppy sound. Can we suggest try turning your video off, and that might let the sound come through better.
Yeah, maybe if your throughput is limited.
Okay, now can you hear me?
Oh
Yes.
my gosh, that's great.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So Andrea Walker, Arlington Ridge. As far as the roads, I live on Arlington Ridge Road, and so the roads have been plowed very nicely. But it's the sidewalks, of course, and that as you know, just from reading the paper, as all the parents know, is that the children would like with the walking school bus. It will be next week will be the first time we've been able to walk the children to school. That has been a real problem. So it's been like 3 weeks. The problem is that missing links kind of situation where some of the sidewalks are shoveled and others aren't. So no one can actually traverse a whole route. So for instance, from my house up to 23rd Street, up to the school. But as far as in terms for the vehicle traffic, it's fine, quite frankly. A matter of fact, I would give, the county an A as far as on the vehicle traffic. It's the rest. And half of that, are us, the citizens, not, going and shoveling their own sidewalks. So,
Right.
thank you.
Well, thank you. Yeah, again, I would just say personally, it was extremely difficult. I helped shovel out some of my neighbors that weren't physically able to do that. But this snow in particular has been a challenge. So yes, and exactly as you said, that it's not always consistent from home to home as far as clearing of the sidewalks. All right, Don Bennett, you're up next.
Okay, Don Bennett from Barcroft. I'm the liaison with the RNAC, the Neighborhood Advisory Committee. So in Barcroft, and I've only been outside Barcroft a couple times, and only more than a block away from the house a couple times. And it's the same story. It's funny, one route, and this is going down South Abingdon. The problem is the plows where they block the intersections, with this mound of snow. On the Abingdon side, every intersection, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, someone cut a narrow, but cut an open path down to the pavement. I don't know if that was the county or some good Samaritan, but someone did it. On the other side, which is South Pershing, this is as you go towards Barcroft School. There was, it's the pile of snow. You have to either go over it or find a driveway, where someone has shoveled. So, and that's the school route. That's a couple blocks from Barcroft School. So, I certainly was afraid to walk over it. I had a couple minor falls, mainly in my yard, and so no injuries. I really hated to hear Peggy's accident. We've had a lot of broken bones in this family from different events over the years. But they plowed. See, the snow came Sunday. Sunday was the sleet. I think we were plowed at least by Tuesday night. And 3rd Street again is kind of a thoroughfare, and it's definitely a cut through street, and it leads right to the school. So that's probably a priority. And this was an extraordinarily difficult situation. I had a bunch of young neighbors that helped me, even though I could have done more, but I didn't say no when they came over. But then we have a construction project kind of catty cornered across the street from me, 2 lots side by side with 2 houses going in. They weren't touched for over a week. I think they finally cleared, but I think because they had to get in there themselves. So I'm sure this is the same story all around.
Yeah. Thank you. Jim Feaster.
Jim Feaster, a member of the committee. I live in the Jefferson at Ballston, and my snow shoveling days are over. And but the staff here is terrific. So they had the surrounding sidewalks, the sidewalks on either side of the Jefferson cleared, and the driveway in and out cleared, so that you could get out to the sidewalk, and then the major sidewalk along Taylor Street had been cleared. And every day I walk to Gold's Gym, which is about a half a mile east of here, and the sidewalks were clear from day one, narrow path perhaps, but clear. The crossings were not, so you had to climb over the mounds of snow. And but they were clear. The merchants had done what they're supposed to do, and so I don't have that many complaints. It was an extraordinary snowfall and sleet. So I did notice the first couple of days that the county would completely shut down one block of Wilson while the trucks not only moved the snow, but took the snow into big trucks and hauled it away. So Wilson was pretty much clear by day 3, perhaps, something like that. I don't remember the exact days, but they were working.
I walked by, I guess it's Key, I think it's called Esquala Key School, where they took a whole street and kind of moved all the snow into that. I had some fun walking over the top of that. That was about I guess 15 feet high snow.
Did that at one of the streets by courthouse too.
Pretty crazy. But I have to say, I just want to interject that where I live, at least, I went and looked at several of the overpasses over 66, and I don't know if it was the county or if the state had done this, but the sidewalks were clear on those overpasses. So I have say kudos to that. So, all right. Next up is David Early.
Hello, everybody. Dave Early. I'm with the Parks Commission as well, and live in the Donaldson Run Civic Association area, right off Langston Boulevard. And a lot of the same experiences that everybody's mentioned. So let me just pivot a little bit to two other ideas. First, I really thought that the manager's message about enforcement was the right one, right? The first message was, hey, we're not going to enforce. This is the difficult snow for the first couple of days. And then later saying, all right, we are going to, we want everybody to start acting and clear your sidewalks. I did notice a significant improvement when that second message came out through its various means. So I thought that was very helpful for him to get that message out. And I think that was even in Oral Now as well. The second thing, and everybody's talked a little bit about the difficulty of coming to an intersection and having to climb off a berm, very slippery, very dangerous. And it made me think about potentially having some sort of snow emergency speed limit, if you will, caution. Because yeah, the streets were clear, but they were more narrow and there were pedestrians. I live right off Langston Boulevard, lots of pedestrians walking in Langston Boulevard. Very, very dangerous. So the idea of having a snow emergency speed reduction is something that I'd like to see if it's at all feasible.
That's a very good idea, because in some cases the only option is to walk in the street. I usually wore a reflective vest when I was walking in the street.
That's a great
which
idea.
is, you can only do so much with that, but if you could reduce the speed at the same time, it certainly gives people a better chance walking in those areas. So thanks. That's a very good idea. Thank you. Next up is John Armstrong. And maybe
Hello.
there. Hello.
Might be a little noisy where I am, but I'll try to find it quieter if you want to. John Armstrong, member of the committee. I live in Lyon Village. In my experience with the snow, it's kind of similar to what other folks have mentioned here. I feel like I've just sort of admitted defeat that all the money and the resources go to clearing the roads for cars, and there's really not enough effort for the pedestrian. Relying on homeowners to clear their sidewalks, it works 50% of the time, maybe. But then, as was mentioned earlier, the crossings are a disaster, especially when plows create obstacles in the crossings. Just sort of shocked at the number of crosswalks on major roads, curb cuts on major roads at intersections are just completely blocked. And I wish, it's been 2 weeks since the snow. I feel like we should see some sort of effort from the county to go out there and clean up some of these intersections, some of these crossings. I've been basically driving everywhere, and even in places where I would want to walk, it's just not safe to walk from one property to another. It's ridiculous. Our school, we're all now members of this school drop-off line, and because you can't safely walk from a few blocks away, you have to walk in the street. It's a shame. It's we can see our values in our budget and our priorities. We just, there's no actual teeth or priority to clear it up for pedestrians.
Right.
If you've got a network that's homeowners are shoveling their walk, businesses are shoveling their walks, but the crosswalks and the intersections are not only aren't they shoveled, but the snow is actually actively placed there to create more of an obstacle, not only for the present, but for the weeks to come, because they're going to take forever to melt unless we have some sort of heavy machinery. I was at the corner of Lee Highway and Washington Boulevard this morning. There's a pedestrian trying to cross Lee Highway at the intersection, a major thoroughfare, and it's just completely blocked by several feet of snow. He almost slipped backwards. So I've been taking tons of pictures. It's just, this event was unlike something we've seen in the past, but we were not prepared for it. We're not dealing with it well. And we're going to have people who are stuck in their houses or unable to walk very far safely for a good bit into the future, unfortunately. It's just sort of sad.
Well,
anyway, thank you.
Thank you. I hope that the county gave a grace period, like David said. I hope that they do start levying fines for those businesses, especially that could clear things that have not.
I mean, David, what I would say is there's all these places, these intersections, and these curb ramps that there's no ownership. The business isn't responsible for that. It could be VDOT, it could be the county, but people just sort of like, who's responsible when the snowplow literally blocks the crossing? And as a homeowner, am I going to go a few blocks away and shovel 3 feet of ice? No, I'm not. It's ridiculous. And so it just sits there because it's no one's fault. Everyone looks the other way. And we don't have a plan for that. I guess that's my point. Like, what is the plan to make it this walkable area? So one of the issues I had, our area is so walkable that students and parents walk to school and other places. The areas where everyone drives everywhere, we're okay because they're used to driving to school, dropping their kid off, and then driving home. We have all these schools that don't have buses. We have to clear these. We have to make it safe to cross the road, to cross an intersection. And we're not. Like, you can just go outside right now and see everywhere it's unsafe. And it's being created, an unsafe environment has been created with these huge snow piles that weren't naturally created. And what's the plan to undo that? Because people can't get to school unless they're in a vehicle.
Right. Yeah, I definitely agree with you, and especially with the snow days that we had, when those snow days end, that you definitely want to make certain that there are traversable ways to get to school. All right, we have one more person. This is Ambar.
Hey, I'm Amber. I'm in the Courthouse Clarendon area. So I would say for the past couple of weeks, there's not been a pedestrian network. I think if I had to walk on the roads, if it was safe, then I probably would have a pedestrian network, maybe up till the door. The roads, I would say from day one, and on the main sort of stretches like Clarendon and Wilson, has been mentioned in other parts of Arlington, were clear from day one. Cars were going probably faster than they used to. They're going 35 miles an hour. A lot of cars not even slowing down for stop signs. So it was a little scary. Crosswalks were blocked. They were still blocked up until yesterday. So if you actually wanted to walk, let's say from Courthouse Metro to Clarendon Metro along the main stretch, you couldn't. there's actually a block on the north side that like basically was completely untouched until now. Well, hopefully it's been melted in the last few hours. You know, there was, for example, areas that I just like couldn't get to. There's like a store that I wanted to get to in Langston, but I checked out the sort of webcams and they showed that, hey, like I'm not gonna be able to get there. There's a bit of a hill. If I try to go there, I'm gonna be, people were walking on the road even a few days ago. So I was like, okay, I'm just not gonna go to that store. I'm gonna try and figure out something else. So I think, you know, in some of our like most walkable areas, I think from what others have also said, just like kind of really disappointing, a lot of crosswalks blocked. And, you know, when I went, for example, to walk to Leon Village, for example, it felt like they had gotten 2-3 more feet of snow than on the main roads, because there was suddenly like, you know, 4 or 5 feet, like there was like huge walls of ice, like there was no crosswalk that was crossable. There was a time where I had to go from where I am to Ballston. I had the choice of walking, biking, bus, or train. And I was like, I ended up, even with the ice, ended up deciding to bike, and it was actually the safe approach because I was on the road. So I had to sort of like deal with the traffic, but that was the right approach, because otherwise, even getting from Ballston Metro to the 2 blocks, like I don't think the sidewalks were, or the crosswalks were clear. So I was like, that was an interesting choice. I think around the enforcement, I was really disappointed at the county manager removing the enforcement for a week and a half. Like, and then the reasoning behind it also was like very strange to me. It felt a little bit disingenuous, where it was, the goal was to be able to clear the roads for public transit and emergency, but the ART buses weren't running at full like standard capacity, I don't believe, for that entire time, for about a week and a half. So like, if we're prioritizing something, okay, great, you've communicated that, but then make that thing actually work, right? And then if you can't actually get to the bus stops in the first place, a number of bus stops between Roslyn and Courthouse, for example, were covered in ice, like for a bit. And so like that was also just a little bit, it just felt like, hey, we're saying one thing, but maybe doing another. I feel like if you had private vehicles, like you could get around much more easily, but buses, not so much. I think one interesting thing that I found is with all this snow, the roads have been narrowed. And I've definitely had, you know, my perspective on a lot of Arlington roads is that they're very wide. Even the individual lanes that leads to like, you know, faster vehicles leads to bad pedestrian experience. These lanes have been narrowed quite significantly from like 11 feet down to 7 feet, especially when they're one on each side. But everyone's sort of like doing okay. I'm seeing trucks get through, I'm seeing emergency vehicles get through. So in my mind, that sort of like proves out that we don't need these really wide lanes that we have built everywhere. That just causes, you know, a sort of disconnect between the design of the road and the intention of the road. So that was just an interesting thought I had over the last couple of weeks.
Thank you. That is a good, interesting thought. I know that at least the fire emergency requires a certain width, and that's sometimes blocked us from putting pedestrian elements onto a street, you know, for those reasons. But like you said, that potentially they don't need all that space. I believe that sometimes they say they need to be able to put their vehicle in a certain place within the street and put outriggers and everything, and that's what takes up the space that they're looking for. Not always sort of moving through the area, but it's actually, you know, kind of setting their fire truck in place. But anyway, thanks. Lots of good feedback, and Pam had suggested that we do sort of provide feedback to the county manager. I think that might not be a bad thing to do, to kind of, again, sort of tell them where we were happy and where we need changes, and plan ahead. And I see, David, you have your actual non-virtual hand up.
My non-virtual hand, my non-virtual right hand. I wanted just to interject one thing. So at the last meeting, I think Mr. Early mentioned or had done some research and found examples of sort of volunteer efforts across the country, of places that mobilize volunteers for snow efforts. And in the thick of the last couple of weeks, I learned about one in Arlington in the Glen Carlin neighborhood. I haven't contacted them directly. I don't know if anybody else on the call here has known anything about that, but I was getting messaged by homeowners who were trapped. They wanted help. I don't run a snowplow or have any throw with the public works people, but in asking around, somebody said, well, check with your community association, civic association, and if you're in Glen Carlin, you're in luck because there's a SWAT team that helps with snow in Glen Carlin. I had not known that. And maybe it's a model for elsewhere in the county. Somebody might want to reach out to them.
Yeah, that might be good. Invite a representative to talk in one of our virtual meetings.
Yeah.
Not a bad idea. Thank you. All right, we are running behind, so I do want to kind of move along here. We haven't gotten to our sort of next agenda item. So Pam Van Hine and Ambar were going to talk about Arlington's transportation future advisory group, kind of what happened at the last meeting, and also go over some of the homework that we have.
Hi, before I start, I'd like to make a comment on following up on David's comment and ask that we approve the minutes before Andrea leaves. She has to leave at 8 o'clock and we're still going to be talking at that. So one of the things we all should look at is the county snow enforcement page, which I don't think I've ever looked at. Just put in snow and it'll eventually come up. Fastnet, do you know that when you clear sidewalks, there's supposed to be 36 inches wide of clear of snow? Which in some of our sidewalks, that would be beyond the sidewalk, but I did not know that. But they also say that there is a way to do volunteer cleanup. One is through your civic association, although I don't think most of our civic associations do this. Mine certainly doesn't. And the other thing was to volunteer was through the disaster volunteer registry, but there's nothing specifically for snow removal, so it's not really clear how that would work. We really have recommended that there be a simple system set up like DC has, where people can register to volunteer to help their neighbors. Anyway, I would like to go on to getting approval for the November 19th, 2025 minutes and the January 14th, 2026 minutes. So I move that the committee approve the November 19th, 2025 PAC minutes.
Do we have a second?
I second.
Any discussion? Okay, and I'm sure you've all read these. I did send them out again. So all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone against it say no.
I'm just going to abstain. This is Peggy.
That's okay. You're not an official member yet, so you can abstain. That's fine. But you're welcome to listen, and we appreciate your opinion whether you officially vote or not.
Okay.
Okay. I secondly move that we approve the January 14th, 2026 PAC minutes.
Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, thank you.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone against say no. Okay, we're done with that.
Thank you so much. Thank you for reminding us. Appreciate it.
And David, if you can pull up my PDF or whatever you want to show.
Yes.
And we'll get through this.
This is slides for the MTP update, and I'm going to share my screen so I can drive the slides.
Thank you. And thank you for doing this. Neither I nor my computer can manage that.
Y'all see it?
Yep, make it bigger.
Okay.
Maybe.
I'm trying to make it as big as possible here. Oh, and I need to go to the Umbar got kicked out, I guess. I think that's as big as I can make it in this format.
Okay, that's fine. I don't have that much text.
Okay.
And next slide.
Here.
Oh, that's right. Okay, so this is the agenda for tonight that I'm going to cover. I'm going to review the staff revised draft policies that were at the last MTP update meeting last week. One of my questions for you is, are some of the draft policies really strategies? And one of the slides that'll be coming up, they say the policies are the what and the strategies are the how, and I think some of their policies are really hows. So I'd like to ignore them if we can. And I want to know tonight, if nothing else, which of these policies would you like to prepare draft strategies? There's probably most of them that are real strategies. And our homework assignment is to prepare no more than 1 to 2 draft strategies for those policies. We do not have to have policies for or draft strategies for every policy. That was a clarification that Eric Goodman made as a public comment at the meeting, and it's due Sunday, March 8th, but I would like to get it done before then because I've got a really busy month coming up. So next slide, let's go.
Here we go.
Okay, you've seen a version of this before, but the good news is now that we're done with vision, we're done with goals, we're done with policies. We are, whoop, go back. Oh, you're still there. Okay. We are now into strategies, which is what most of us have been waiting for a very long time, because we can really get into the nitty gritty of what we want. Again, this is, I want to highlight here is that the policies are the what and the strategies are the how. And we can go on to the next slide, please. Okay, and as I said, up to 2 strategies per policy that are most important to our committee, and due back no later than Sunday, March 8th, but hopefully before that. So next slide, we're going to start going through these very quickly. And this is how we did it at the meeting. We went through about 4 or 5 at a time. These are, I'm going to go through these fairly quickly. This is the prior version of the policy and any changes. The first one they made, and I think all the changes they made overall are very good. Eric, your hand is raised.
I think you just answered my question. So there are 2 things here. What you're showing us now are the policy revisions that were presented
right
at the meeting. And after you go through that, I guess we're going to look at what are these policies we want to address. Right. Okay,
right.
Well,
be thinking about that while we're doing this. So we're looking at the latest draft policy, and certainly I would assume, and we don't have to vote on this. If you have general comments one way or the other, just spit it out. One, I think we definitely want to address. And 2 is the same as what has been before. Clearly communicate how decisions are made when developing funding and implementing transportation projects and programs. My comment was clearly communicate to whom. It doesn't say. And I think this again is one that we will want to address because we have some issues with how things are communicated, and we want to make sure that they're done correctly. The next one, I would say, is a strategy. Collaborate with local, regional, state, and federal jurisdictions, agencies, and other interested parties to advance transportation planning and services. It's very important, but it is definitely a how, not a what. Do people agree with that pretty much?
I do.
Good. We can probably ignore it. And the next one also, I would say, is a strategy. Collaborate with other county departments to further mutual goals in the right of way. Again, very important, but it is a how, not a what. So I think we can ignore that one too.
Can I ask,
Yeah.
So if collaborating with local, basically the act of collaborating with other groups, agencies, and others is the strategy, what do you see if you step back one further that would be the policy? Would the policy be a general statement about collaboration that and then this is kind of the more specific, or that communication is needed? What do you think is the, if we could step up, what do you think that overall overarching item would be as a policy?
So in the prior homework assignment, when we were dealing with the policies, I said a bunch of them were strategies, and I put all of the relevant policies under 5 specific policies, and then a whole bunch of strategies under them. And I think this one may have gone under land use. I don't have it in front of me. I can pull that up later. But I think again, this is an example of a how, not a what.
But
I'll take a stab at answering Eric's
Yeah.
question. The next higher level of abstraction would be some sort of statement about the value of coordination, so that the left hand knows what the right hand is doing.
Right.
The way you actualize that is collaborating with other regional jurisdictions, collaborating with other county departments, but the aim is to have well-coordinated efforts.
Okay, good point. Thank you.
Oh, and before I go on to the next slide, which you can go on to the next slide. Any of them that I have indicated might be strategies. We can still list strategies with them if people feel strongly about them. I don't really care.
Pam, just a
Yep.
point of clarification though,
Yes.
has the opportunity for this to be considered passed at this point? Because you mentioned that the
No.
policies have now been revised and.
I mean, they're revised. I think that we made a lot of suggestions during the last meeting, which have not been incorporated on these slides yet. And I don't know if they're going to incorporate all of them, some of them, none of them. That would certainly change them. And no, I don't think they're final, but they're basically what they're aiming for.
And,
it's like, oh, yes, David.
And
yeah.
when does the advisory group next meet?
We are probably going to meet again in March. They're moving fairly quickly now. I think they're a little bit behind again. We will be talking about our draft strategies at that point and other things, but they're moving fairly quickly at this point. They need to get this done and over to the board, later this year. So we're going fast. Next slide, please.
Can I go backwards? I'm sorry.
Okay, page 3.
My screen is covered up. Here we go.
Back to the wait. Okay, this one, which is historic and existing disparities, what they added to this was, besides access and affordability, this one I did not list on my initial email to you. It is one we certainly could respond to if people want to do strategies on it. It's certainly important. And you can think about that. The next 6 has been split into 6A and 6B. 6A, and again, they're very different from what was originally written. A couple infrastructure investments with transportation demand management to minimize single occupancy vehicle trips. That one we definitely want to comment on. 6B, reducing transportation greenhouse gas emissions. I don't think we need to comment on that specifically. That's not really in our wheelhouse, but if people want to do something, we can. Moving on to 7. Eliminate what? Yes, what?
Just being pedestrian is a zero.
Yeah, we could make that point.
Zero emission.
Yeah, yes. Well, shifts to high quality multimodal transportation options, which would include walking and running and rolling. Yes, we could add that. 7, eliminate barriers to mobility to create an accessible transportation system for all. We definitely want to comment on that. Accessibility is a huge issue for us. And moving on, next page, next slide, sorry. Okay. This is the complete street once one policy, and they included streetscapes in it, and they eliminated low stress because they said if it's people focused, it's going to be low stress. That's redundant. Okay. We definitely want to comment on that, and everyone here who has been experienced with the complete streets process should chime in on what we should say. Number 10 is about MOTs, and also maintaining transportation with planned events. Yes, we had the monks going through our neighborhood on Monday. Again, we definitely have opinions on that one. We want to have opinions on, we want to have strategies. Ensure community members are equitably engaged in transportation decision-making. Probably not super high on our list, but probably we want to do that one. And next slide. Sorry, 13.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, here we are. One of the most important ones for us. We want to get this one right. Ensure safety is the first priority on all projects, plans, and initiatives that impact the transportation network. Amen to that. We're going to have a hard time limiting ourselves to 2, but we definitely want one on that. And 14, evaluating new technologies. Eric wanted to raise AVs, and this may be a place where we could put some of a strategy about AVs. Does that make sense to you, Eric?
Autonomous vehicles.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, I just think that if this is kind of looking into the future, Waymo is already looking to come into DC. It probably won't be long before there might be one in Northern Virginia, and potentially there might be competitors. So
Right. I know that the National Lighting Bid had hoped to be a site. I don't know if they still want to be a site, but that was been one of their thoughts for a few years. And moving on to 16, foster a culture of safe travel behavior for all users. Yes, we want to say something about it. And it's not just drivers. It's everyone has to change their behavior with everyone else. And we need to be clear about that, I think. Although I almost got hit by a driver today when I was crossing Burn Street. I won't comment on that further. 17, this is the biophilic one.
we need to switch to the next page.
Oh, so,
there we go.
Sorry, thank you. Thank you, Eric. I wasn't looking at the screen. We totally support this as long as it doesn't impact our clear zones on the sidewalk. And, you know, it's not just street trees and plants and things. It's everything else that can be in the total sidewalk zone, including cafe zones that can be a real problem. So, and somewhere I think I want to talk about cafe zones. But yes, I definitely want to have at least one point under there that this is great as long as the clear zones are respected. You can't decrease the clear zones just because you want to have more street trees. There are ways of getting around it. That's hard to say. Street trees can be other side of the curb. That happens in many places. That works. But the priority on the sidewalks has to be our clear zones. All right, 18 is the one that I forgot, and it's one of the most important policies in the whole list of policies. Integrate land use and transportation planning to co-locate growth and development with high quality sustainable transportation options. We definitely want to say a couple things here, and I apologize that I forgot to note that one. Next one is 19, maintain a state of good repair and service across the transportation network, and they cut everything else off. We definitely want a couple pedestrian friendly strategies here, I think. 20 is manage the curb lane, and they took out streetscape here, as a valuable and limited public asset, recognizing importance of safety, mobility, access, and public life. Yes, we want a couple comments here, including safe access through the curb lane over to the sidewalks, as Eric has pointed out, and that is for everyone. All right, next, final slide here.
Okay.
Next one.
Just a sec.
21.
Thank you. Yay. The first one, 21, they have merged in with the number 1. 22, support. They changed this to support freight and delivery operations that reduce congestion, emissions, and conflicts with other users of the right of way. I said that we need to say more than support. It should be something like prioritize. That has been a huge change in the national landing area. Initially during COVID, all the food pickups were by people in single occupied vehicles. They were mucking up the bus lanes, they were mucking up the bike lanes, they were mucking up the travel lanes. There just isn't room in our area, which is quite congested, lots of traffic of different kinds, lots of different modes of transportation. But rather organically, especially for food delivery and for other deliveries even, the Pudo drivers are driving pedal assist, regular bikes, motorized bikes, and it makes a huge difference. It works. This is great. We really want to push that. So we want to say something there. And finally, 23, which is one of the most important for me, build out the modal priority network to advance an interconnected and convenient multimodal transportation system. I raised a question about this because this is the one policy in the current pedestrian element that was really not covered in the draft policies. And I said, okay, does that mean that building out the pedestrian network is going to be a strategy? And kind of yes, but they're also doing some pedestrian kind of mode maps. They're going to start working on that to figure out where the gaps are and where there's overlaps and help them prioritize where they need to start with fixing the pedestrian network. So that's great. So that's one that I want. I also want one that I need to work on because I think we need a new way of doing sidewalks, period, which the county manager supports. If every developer does his or her own sidewalks, you can get a mix mash of sidewalks that don't match, they don't intersect correctly, it's just a mess. But as you probably know, once a development is built, it is the responsibility of the owner, usually the developer, to maintain the sidewalks in perpetuity. And at some point that gets lost. And that came up with the last snowstorm last year, where nobody could figure out who was responsible for some of the things that weren't getting cleaned up. So, you know, I think it probably needs to be the county, but the developers need to pay in, like with an annual fund perhaps, to get the work done. That's one issue, a couple issues there. And the other thing is the neighborhood sidewalks, as we have learned from Don, and I know from personal experience, that neighbors can prevent needed sidewalks in gaps, missing sidewalks, missing links from being built because they don't want them. I'm not sure why they don't want them, but they don't want them. And that has happened in my neighborhood in several places. So that is something we also want to change. So that's kind of a big need that I want to stick here. So any comments, questions? Oh, Amber, do you want to start? Why don't you can you pull up yours and go over some of them real fast?
I can. I guess I'm just looking at time. I'm also happy to just sort of like provide like a 30-second voiceover of just like the general themes within them. So, I mean, I picked a few. I think I just wanted to send some of the thoughts that I had, but overall, like, I think I wanted to try to, the themes that I was thinking about were providing more specificity into the strategies where there might be numbers, for example. So for example, around the pedestrian network, one of the ideas was around, you know, having specific number of days or hours where things have to be cleared by, you know, we've been talking about ice and snow and things. So like, you know, maybe against those sorts of things. Also, there's a lot of, in what I shared, a lot of sort of design elements. I feel like it to me it appears that, you know, sometimes our designs, and I think Pam, you were sort of talking about this, you know, block to block or development to development. I feel like some of the design frameworks, like they're well developed, but sometimes can be inconsistent, and sometimes it's not very clear why, like, hey, you know, why one section has, let's say, a median versus another doesn't. And so I think there could be more deliberate design considerations where these pedestrian elements are part of the report that comes out of these things. So it's like, okay, you know, these are the 5 things that we do for pedestrians, let's say daylighting and medians and things like that. And we are or are not considering these for this reason. I think that should be something more explicit as part of some of the projects. I think just like considering how this sort of width of roadways as well as the amount of parking overall is considered more holistically versus at this like per project level with this like parking minimum concept, which like I think might work if you've got a project that's in the middle of nowhere where there's nothing around, then you're like, okay, I want to make sure that, you know, it sort of meets. But when, you know, everything is so close together here that there's a lot of spillover. And so I had a couple of ideas around those as well. And then yeah, I'd say the rest of them were really around just like transparency and design, as well as sort of action orientation. So just making sure that, you know, if something occurs where safety improvements need to be made, that they are made within a specific amount of time, and that they at least happen, that they don't just get added to a list. And again, they're sort of part of this standard framework and list of types of things that you can do. So anyway, that's probably the shortest I can explain the, you know, the like whatever the 15, 20 things that I sent.
Right.
But please take a look. I'm more than happy to chat or respond to any of those in email. And yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Amber. And I think you did a really great job. David Early also sent some fairly short ones. And what I'm going to do is compile them all into one list of the draft policies and all the proposed strategies that we have so far. And people
When
can
would
add
you
to them.
like,
People can,
when would you like folks to, do you have a date like end of like next Sunday or something like that, or Monday, or do you have
for
a
your
time frame?
comments?
Yeah, for people to kind of bring in those strategy comments and that where you can compile, and then we'll kind of get a final review.
Yeah, well, I'm going to start by sending out the 2 sets that I have because I think they're really worth looking at. And then people can add to them and comment on them, and we'll go from there. And I need to figure out a couple that I want to add for 23. And I plan to get that out by Friday at the latest. So then people can start. And this is a 3-day weekend, so hope people can ponder it over the weekend and maybe get back to me by Tuesday or so with different ideas. Jim has already looked at Amber's, as has Patrick Kenny, and they were both pretty happy with those. But nobody besides me has seen Dodge yet. They're fairly short. But there's some useful stuff in there too, Don. Thank you.
Pam, this is Dave. You mentioned that
Dave.
They have asked for the committee to recommend was it 1 or 2 for
two max.
Two maximum. Anywhere between 0 and 2.
Thank you. And can you what was the rationale behind that? Is that in the sense of they asking us to prioritize? I guess
yes, it's prioritizing, except the things that are most important to us. Although there's a lot of things that are most important to us more than 2 for like safety and accessibility and building out the network. So it's going to be hard to limit those to 2.
Gotcha.
And there's some that we don't care about that much.
Well, sorry, Pam, I just wanted to say part of the reason why they may have limited this, and I'm speculating, is they want eventually for each of the stakeholders to bring them back to the group and kind of present them. And if you had I guess 60 of them, wouldn't give you an opportunity to say that much. So I think that's what they're trying to really look for each of the stakeholders to give their priorities.
Right.
Thank you.
But they also specifically said that if they didn't limit it, they would be overwhelmed trying to sort it out. So I think that
I-
makes sense too.
I think, Pam, if we, got down to three on one item, I don't think that they would slap our hands too much. So
Don't quote me on that. Don't quote you on that. We'll see. We need to be careful. Yeah, but and my sense is that most of the participating other commissioners and committees are aligned with us. So there's going to be a fair amount of duplication and we don't have to worry too much that some of our points aren't being covered. But yeah, this is our golden opportunity to come up with the strategies that we've been waiting for a year and a half. So it's going to be hard, but I will get this out. I promise no later than Friday. And you've all seen Amber's list. David, if you want to go ahead and forward yours to everybody, otherwise I'll just make sure that I get it out with everybody else's, with Amber's very soon. Your choice. And this is one of the most important things that we're doing and we want to get it right. And I thank you very much. And if you have any questions, let me know. Oh, next slide, please. Sorry. So this is what is happening overall this year. So they're refining the modal priority networks and street typologies, and part of that is that they are working on some secret pedestrian modal priority networks, which are really going to be helpful to us. And I thought that was great. And you can see the next meeting is going to be mid-March sometime, which could be another factor which will come up later in the meeting when we hold our next meeting. Okay, they may want to meet on the PAC meeting date. And so, actually, we are not. Okay, so we present our feedback on strategies at the next meeting, and then they come back with a compilation, which will be close to finished, and then they do the draft plan. And I don't know how much input we are going to have on that. We'll get to look at it and make it as, but again, I think at that point, they will have probably done all the text and we're just making edits and final suggestions. I'm not sure that we have that much input into it, but I don't know what they're doing yet, so I don't know. And their goal is to get it to the board this fall and it'll be done. Next, is there a slide after that? I think so, yeah. Yeah, again, this is their little timeline and you can see we're a bit behind. By fall, we were supposed to have already done a lot of this stuff, but we're falling behind. So policies and strategies were supposed to be done last fall. No, we're just doing them, the strategies now. And then we're putting all this other stuff together now, or the staff is. All right, final slide. Any more questions? And I will get this stuff out to you no later than Friday. And I thank you for your participation and your comments, and I look forward to what other feedback you have. And one of our first homework assignments was to come up with kind of what our dream goals and things were. And there were a lot of things to sort out with that one. I think there's going to be a lot of things to sort out with this one, so we want to get going with it. Anyway, thank you so much. I'm done.
Pam,
thank you, Pam. Thanks.
May I ask one more question, Eric, on this one?
Please.
And I totally understand the managing all the ideas and keeping it to two and so forth. But what did they say what their strategy will be for the number of what their plan will be for the number of strategies that they will have for each policy? Will there be dozens? Will there be a small number?
They did not say. I'm sure it's going to be more than two. I don't think it's going to be dozens.
Yeah, so you got 20
we'll
or
find
so.
Out.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's like 14 of us, 14 groups. And some of them have actually not done homework the last couple of times. So, and people will, I think some groups will focus on more, some specific strategy more than others.
Yeah, the point of my question is
Yeah,
to really understand what level of detail the strategy should be at, right? So you've got a policy, you've got 20 policies, right? You know, there's at what level do we want to get the what,
yeah,
right? You could be very, very specific and say, hey, in this area, we want to do this thing, boom. Or you can be 3 or 4 levels up and have a smaller number. I remember the public space master plan, for instance, I think it's got 254 or some very large number of strategies. And it becomes very difficult to manage and to track progress against the entire plan because you have pages and pages of strategies. You may end up with somewhere like that now with 23 policy areas and potentially a large number of strategies. So that was the gist of my question. Thank you.
yeah. That is a staff question. We'll bring it up at the next meeting.
Yeah, I don't think they
Definitely.
I don't think they explained
No.
it that well. I think
No.
they're just right now it's sort of like the brainstorming. They're just trying to gather.
Right. But not too much.
Thank you, Pam.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for your patience.
All right, we've come to the point where we're running a little behind here, obviously, but this is for election of chair and vice chair. So I guess I'll open the floor up to anybody who would like to be chair or vice chair. I would like to at least see if we can elect somebody to take on those roles. I have been in this role for quite a while, and I want to give others the opportunity, and I also want to allow others to drive the direction of this committee. So I have the floor open. Does anybody have interest in becoming the chair? And as far as timing goes, at least at this point, typically a chair will be chair for a year or 2 years. I don't think we have any set time frame, but I would like to see somebody take on that role. Does anybody here have interest in that? I see a lot of quietness. Does anybody have interest in being a vice chair? Still kind of quiet. Well, I guess if we don't get a volunteer, what I then would like to do is kind of switch up things for a little bit. I would like to bring it on to the floor that maybe we have a rotating chair, and potentially for 3 or 6 months at a time, but we have somebody that kind of takes the helm for a shorter period of time. Just want to get feedback. Is that something that people would agree to, that we do on maybe a more limited rotating basis until someone decides, or we get somebody who wants to take on the role as I guess a full-term chair?
I think that's a very reasonable approach.
Okay. All right. Good. So let's say we've established that. I guess we want to think about what would be, if people feel that they could take on this for shorter periods of time, what do you think is a good time frame? Do you think 3 months, 4 months, 6 months? I would say under 6 months if we're rotating, but any feedback?
How about, I'd like 4 months. I think three goes really fast. 4, you would have 3 people in a year. You can line it up pretty well.
Okay.
I'm just brainstorming here with you.
I think that's good. Does anybody have any other thoughts? Okay. So let's say let's say for right now we go with 4 months. Can I get a volunteer to take on the role for the first time for the next 4 months?
Eric, I'm going to speak up here.
Okay.
I'm not volunteering. It's not my role to
Absolutely.
chair the committee, but I support Eric's aim here. Eric stepped in to avoid when the previous chair resigned, left the committee entirely, and you have staff support. I'm the liaison to this committee, so I can beat the bushes and talk to people up and down the county administration. But this committee has a lot of stability, and it deserves to have somebody who, wants to be the point person and marshal the discussions and help craft the agenda. And Eric's been great at this, but he's been doing it for a long time, and he's a very busy fellow. He's done it in the past, and I would like to see somebody rise to the occasion and offer to step up.
Well, let me just note, I'd be happy to do it sometime. I'm only on the committee for 2 months now, so I didn't feel like it's appropriate to step up at this point.
Right.
Be happy to be in the rotation for the, the whatever we just called there, but I know there are people here with more experience and more time on the committee here.
Right. Well, I know both Ambar and Jim have been on for at least a year, if not more. Would either of you take on the role for the first term of the 4-month term?
Well, I'm not going to make the next March meeting, and I don't think I'm going to make the April meeting. I think I'm going to be traveling on both of those.
Okay. Would you consider the second term, I guess? Or are you tapped out pretty much after that?
I have another trip to Europe and another cruise plan. Let me look at that. Let me look at the meetings.
Doing research.
Okay. Ambar, do you think you might be able to take on it the first term?
Possibly. I think I might. This is about. I don't know when the March meeting is. There's a possibility I might miss the March meeting, but the other ones, I feel like the rest of the year I probably am going to be around. So sure. I think. Are you also doing? I mean, like, I'd be happy to take the vice chair, but if no one is offering for the chair, then happy to try.
Okay. Well, what if you could take on the next, and if you, I could certainly act as basically just run the meeting next month if that's not something you're able to do. I might ask you to as chair to at least maybe set the agenda, but I would be happy to run the meeting.
Sure.
Okay.
And since the topic has come up, we need to discuss the next March meeting, because there's been an idea that it should be a joint meeting with the bicycle committee in order to have a unified audience for the Vision Zero folks. But there's a conflict on March 11th, which would be the next PAC meeting on the second Wednesday. And there's a conflict on March 2nd, which would be the next bicycle committee meeting on the first Monday.
What are the conflicts?
Well, on March 11th, the conflict is the Transportation Plan Advisory Group meets.
Oh, then we can't do it.
On March 2nd, the conflict, it's not a conflict so much as a reluctance. I think Cynthia Palmer is not available. But if other people are available on March 2nd, we could aim for March 2nd, which is just 3 weeks away.
And I could work with Cynthia again. I don't mind actually being the physical facilitator of the meeting.
Right.
But
it's the back end work you need some help with.
Right.
So I'd like to suggest deciding to have the joint March meeting on March 2nd rather than the 11th. And Eric, especially if you can work it out with Cynthia, because that's the bicycle committee's regular meeting night. It would mean the pedestrians joining the bicycle people.
And David, you know for sure that the advisory group is meeting on the 11th?
Well, yes, I I was party to a bunch of messages from Kristen today saying, "Oh my goodness, we're running into this bottleneck on the 11th." So she was imploring us to not meet on the 11th.
Oh, okay. Well, so, but I will be meeting with her on the 11th. Okay.
Right, right.
Okay.
So can we say the second works best for this group?
I don't have a problem with it, but let's get some feedback from others here.
Yeah. I will be crazy busy, but obviously the 11th isn't going to work for me, so the second will have to work.
It looks like Amber is okay. Amber.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ooh, Amber can run the
okay.
meeting.
David
Okay.
and Don Bennett both said yes. Okay. I think Jim's traveling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're gone by then, Jim? Yeah.
Okay.
I'll be in Argentina.
Oh,
And
okay.
it'll be recorded and it'll be,
Right.
it'll focus on transportation plan updates and communication, but, and the Vision Zero folks. So I think
Right.
that's a good outcome there.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, thank you. First, I want to thank Amber for taking volunteering for the first shot at this, and we'll kind of see how it works as rotating chairs, and hopefully we'll get somebody for a term, and also maybe have a vice chair that could potentially move into the chair position after the chair, a more permanent chair, serves a term.
Yeah. I just want to be clear. So Amber is volunteering for the first 4 months, and Jim is going to check on his travel schedule to see whether he could do any 4 months this year. And Don, probably you want to wait to the last third, but if necessarily, or David, rather, you could come in
Yeah, I could do
the summer.
I could do the second if needed. Third
Yeah.
would be fine
Okay.
too. No
Okay.
worries.
Great. Thank you.
Very much
Thank you all. I've
very
already
much
been
appreciated.
chair. I don't want to be chair again. I'm happy being recording
And-
secretary.
And
Yeah.
Pam, you get a gold ribbon for being secretary. You do a great job.
Thank you.
You do more than just be a secretary in this, so you keep me straight. So yeah, anybody who serves as chair will have Pam keeping you straight. So,
Helping you, subtly
yes.
giving you suggestions.
Yes, so very
Behind
much
the scenes.
appreciated.
Thank you.
Well, let's see if we can
Okay.
catch up a little bit on the
Okay.
agenda here. So we were going to talk about I guess the next item. Really, it's not much of an item, but we really want to talk about the budget. That already the county had opened, the county manager had opened things up to suggestions. It says closed now, but open things up to suggestions on balancing the budget, and there was a public engagement on that. That has closed. Pam had sent some comments in, and I don't know, Pam, if you want to maybe talk a little bit about a few of the ones you had, maybe highlight a few, but let me just kind of talk about the next step. It's my understanding that the county manager is going to release his budget for public feedback this month. I think he's going to send it to the county board. And so that there's going to be another opportunity for us to weigh in on, what we would like to see. So I would like to see if we can have somebody volunteer to kind of to follow that and maybe solicit feedback from our group and sort of follow that. Is there somebody who might want to volunteer for that effort through our group to kind of volunteer and sort of champion our feedback on the budget? Anyone?
I'm just really busy this month.
I'll,
I can't do it.
I'll do it. I'll take it because,
Okay.
yeah.
You're so good, David. Thank
No,
you.
We thank you. I mean, this also really you're going to corral us a little bit to,
Right.
Yeah.
to provide feedback, and hopefully we won't be seeing things in the budget that we're really concerned about. I know the budget might be a little more austere for this year, but we wouldn't want like positions to be cut that you know interact with our committee and other things like that that would be that could sort of set things backwards for pedestrian efforts.
I have a little something to add on this topic. Right before our meeting started tonight, I received an email from a man who's the clerk of the county board, and he's sharing the county board's budget work sessions. And it's sent to all liaison and advisory group chairs. So you probably haven't seen it yet, but I think I can share this message out with the committee members. I will do that. And it has a calendar of events, and it has the dates when the county manager is going to present his proposed budget to the board on the 21st of February. It'll be taken up at the recessed meeting on the 24th. Then
Can we send a representative, or do we need to send our chair?
I don't know, Eric, this literally came in as I was warming up the computer to start this meeting. So I haven't had a chance to read it or study it yet, but I can share it out. It's an email.
Okay, that would be appreciated. So then either our acting chair at the time or the or our champion for the budget potentially could attend. But we'll wait till we hear the details. All right. I don't want to. I want to kind of move on, and David, thank you for volunteering for that. So let's see, what's the next thing? This is opportunities for engagement and volunteering. So we have more things. One thing I know about is that the CC to DCA engagement has been delayed, but we already have somebody to make on that. David, do you want to say something?
Well, a clarification there. What has fallen off the agenda is the idea of an in-person event. So there's going to be an engagement opportunity. It will be probably a pre-recorded message. It had been anticipated that there would be some sort of final design decisions to share, and those are not ready yet. So it'll be more reviewing what has been done to date. It's a big, complicated project with lots of coordination involved. The county board has been brought up to speed on all of that effort. And so the idea there is that they can help field the calls for more information so that the project managers are not hung out to dry.
Okay.
So during February, I don't know the dates, there will be an online engagement opportunity, but no public open house meeting.
Okay, but there will be some sort of way to provide feedback
Yes.
through a website or something of that
Yes.
sort. Okay.
I don't know more yet.
And so both Andrea and Pam, I believe, are folks to work on that. Pam, I guess when I came in at the beginning, you were all talking about Marriott. Is there going to be something coming down the line on Marriott that is going to be a public engagement on the Marriott site?
As David pointed out, it is going to be a special GLUP study before it goes to SPRC. And there's an LRPC meeting scheduled. And as I wrote back, the PAC traditionally is not part of GLUP processes, special GLUPs.
Okay.
I got to go to the first Bellwood one meeting, but not the next one. But I still got to give public engagement feedback. Given the site, I think it would be nice if we could push for the PAC in the back to have a seat at the table. I mean, this is literally right by Gateway Park, right
Right.
by, and I was looking, they have this transportation report on it, and they started talking about transit, and they said, well, you know, the metro is just a couple blocks away, easy to get to, and it has the orange and silver line there. Does it have the blue line there too in Roslyn?
Yes.
That's a
And
pretty
the
basic
orange.
yeah, it's a pretty basic mistake. I was not too impressed with their transportation thing. I don't know how to
Do you
go
know who we
about
would reach
that.
out to?
Yeah, I don't know who's doing it. I wonder if we
I can make an
could,
effort there.
yeah,
It's a CPHD responsibility, but
right,
the transportation planning has a role to play.
right. You, David, appreciate the bike ped consequences of this site, right?
Oh, I'm intimately familiar with the Custis
Yeah,
Trail and Key
yeah,
Bridge and
right.
all of that, yes.
And
So
just getting over to the metro, yeah.
I guess
is this the old Marriott site?
Yes,
Key
Yes,
Bridge
yes,
yes.
Marriott?
Key
Okay.
yes.
Bridge, Marriott. Yeah, I'd be happy to, and I certainly we can look for other volunteers. We don't have all our membership here today, but I'd be happy even to sit in on that one if we can find out.
If you can, yeah.
I
Well,
don't
you
think,
certainly you can go there as a public member, but it'd be nice to have a seat at the table, just given its location.
and I'm not familiar with the LRPC, the SPRC, and the GLUP. It's not a full-blown official project yet. There's a process of deciding how much it is in harmony with or in conflict with existing zoning. I think that's the state it's at right now. But I think a case can be made that for a seat at the table, like you all said.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
It'd be nice to try for us in the back.
And I'm happy to help with that project if you need someone as
Yeah.
well.
Well, it's one we should all
Right.
pay attention to. It's just a really important project.
Absolutely, absolutely. All right, so let's see. No other, does anybody aware of any other engagement opportunities at this time?
Well, I wanted to raise a couple things, and I sent you assorted lists. One was the message from Valerie Mosley about how they will providing us information on upcoming projects, transportation projects, to have input. And she highlighted the Arlington Transportation Future. We're obviously involved with that. And also that coming up in April, possibly, at Arlington Boulevard Trail improvements on the south side from George Mason Drive to South Glebe Road, and South George Mason Drive multimodal improvements from Arlington Boulevard to Columbia Pike. That sounds like two different things.
Hmm.
Is that two
It
different
is.
things?
Yes.
It is two
Oh,
different
okay.
things.
Oh, well, we care about both of them.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So what,
No,
so there's a multimodal study, and then what was the second one?
that's the first one. The first
Okay.
one is the Arlington Boulevard Trail improvements on the
Okay.
south side from South George Mason Drive to South Glebe Road. Okay, I didn't.
That's where the Foreign Affairs Training Center is, and it's got a
Okay.
Yeah.
nasty narrow sidewalk currently.
Yeah, it's awful. Just awful.
Yeah. If there's an engagement opportunity, I'd like to be involved with that. This area is very close to me.
Can we put
Right.
you down for the two efforts potentially? We can always
Yeah.
share it with somebody
Yeah.
else, but the two efforts
Yeah.
on
Okay.
route
Yeah, I'm gonna need some help on
Arlington
figuring
Boulevard.
out.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. We're happy to
gonna-
support you. Thank you,
Yeah,
Don.
yeah.
Okay.
And just as a reminder, so this message from Valerie Mosley, who's my bureau chief, is the evolution of the discussion that's been going on for a couple of years about the change in how the county's doing engagement with people like the PAC. And used to be quite a system of project managers coming to the PAC and other committees and rolling out their projects. And there was a wholesale change in that way of doing things to a more formalized, standardized engagement process. And the PAC felt really ill-served by that. So this is a response to that. This is a way of sort of trying to split the baby in a way and providing advance notice of things that clearly have pedestrian and bicycle components to them, and providing an early warning and an extended open period for comment, and sort of a gold-plated invitation, if you will. That's my reading of it.
Well, that's good. Yeah, I will pass this on to Ambar, but I should probably put together a little spreadsheet just of who's assigned to what as we move through, and maybe dates associated with those. So I can work on that. Which, was there anything else, Pam?
Back to SPRCs. Is anyone is going to the Alexian Courthouse SPRCs? There was one on February 5th, and I think there might be another one coming up.
I went to the one
Ambar was
last
there.
week.
Yes.
Wonderful. So you're going to be our support on that.
Yes. So do you know when the next one is?
I don't think it's posted yet.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I believe, sorry, Pam, go ahead.
Okay. There's the Spire. There's one coming up February 23rd and March 12th. Do we have anybody assigned to that? I'm not seeing the messages that would come out from Matt Pfeiffer, and I don't know if you're responding to them.
I guess he has not been. He's just been blanketly putting me on, and so I am getting them from him. Yeah, as a default at this point, and I think we can just assign people to go, which is they seem to be fine as long as we identify ourselves as a representative of the PAC. So I think they've been at least pretty informal about that. They just don't want.
They didn't used to be. That's
they don't want two people, representing, coming to the table, sort of stacking the table. But I think they're okay with one. I see John is coming back on here.
Oh, good. Hi, John.
But I believe
we could tell John that he's the incoming president, chair, or vice chair.
I don't know.
Yeah, you missed our election here. Well, which is at this point we are going to have a rotating chair. So, and Ambar is going to take the first 4-month rotation. So go ahead, Jim. Okay. Jim, I see your hand is up, but your sound is off.
No, it's
I hit the wrong button. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay. Go ahead, Pam.
Okay. So do you have anybody in mind for the Spire? It is Fairfax Drive, 4420 North Fairfax Drive, and the meeting is February 23rd, which is coming up soon.
I didn't see the one that I saw was the second meeting for the one that's on Cherry Hill Lane.
Waverly Ridge.
Waverly Ridge, yeah.
Oh, okay.
I know that's coming up, and
that's on the 19th. The 19th. Yep.
Yeah. So David and I are both going to be in that one.
Oh, okay. Good, yeah. Good.
But when is the other one? I guess I may have missed a couple that have come through.
Yeah, this is the Spire, 4420 North Fairfax Drive. It says February 23rd and March 12th.
Okay.
That is imminent. And the other one that is coming up, I'm not sure when, is the Air and Space Force Association site, 1501 Langston Boulevard. Nothing posted yet. It's all TBD, but that's going to be a big one.
Okay. I could take it. What the one on Fairfax Drive? Where is that on Fairfax Drive?
4420.
Is that near Ballston?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's 2 blocks west of Ballston Metro.
Okay. Does anybody have? And Jim, you have your hand up. Would you want to take the one near Ballston? We can't hear you.
Jim, you're muted.
So what's the address?
Uh,
4420 Fairfax.
Okay, but you're going to be out of town.
Okay. Yeah, I guess that's true.
February 23rd, March 12th.
All right. I think I can take that one on.
Okay.
I'm close
So,
enough to
Eric,
Boston.
I'm happy to provide feedback on that one. I wish I can go to the first one, but not the second one. So if you are okay with that, I'm happy to do the first one.
Oh,
But if you wanted the same
that's
person to
fine.
do both,
If you want to take the first shot, I can. That's fine, and then I can take the other one. So that's good. Okay.
Okay.
And then the air and you said air and
Air and Space Force Association
Force.
site, which is 1501 Langston Boulevard.
That's that big brick building on the corner
Yeah.
of what, Scott Street and
It's right next to near the trail, then, right?
Yes,
It's
right on the
okay.
Custis Trail, has this imposing staircase.
Ah. But again, everything's TBD.
Maybe
but
we
soon.
maybe Eric Malpali would be interested in that one.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Okay. That's it for the moment.
Okay.
And Marriott Key Bridge is coming. Oh, it's going to be the LUP study, and that's a matter of David's going to see if we can get a seat at the table.
I will
Okay.
see what I can do.
Yeah.
All right. And let's see here. So let's go quickly. We're getting close, very close to the end of the hour. I just wanted to get any feedback from any of our liaisons or even folks that are taking on SPRCs. Is there anything you'd like to share as far as status of your committees, commissions, or other things that you're on that might be of interest to us?
yes, there's some homework on the Vision Zero action plan. I sent an email to the group yesterday or the day before with their action items. Overall, I think overall I feel like the feedback the Vision Zero team gets from this group is pretty positive in general, but I'm a little underwhelmed with the sort of how like aspirational their 5-year action plan items are. So I am drafting up some thoughts on particularly around project delivery. I'll share those round hopefully by the weekend, so you all can take a look. I would like just share feedback, take a look through them, and that's pretty much it. I think if you have any questions, reach out. I couldn't find the meeting recording, but I feel like they're fairly self-explanatory. They're not as they're like fairly high level.
Oh, when are your comments due to Vision Zero people?
I think the 27th is when they're due of this month.
Okay, so soon.
Yes, I probably should have sent the email a week earlier, but anyway, but
thank you for sending it.
Yeah. So anyway, hopefully with some of the thoughts I put on, it'll sort of help to direct the conversation. But yeah, please send feedback on this.
Okay, so we'll have lots of homework for everybody to look at this weekend. All right, maybe it'll snow again.
Another snowstorm, yeah.
Yeah, I
Rain.
I actually thought a lot of what they wrote was interesting, and some of it we might. We should all review it anyway, but looking at some of it to help us do some of our strategies. I mean, there's some good content here, including evolve and grow existing VDOT partnership. Okay.
Well, I know it's very confusing exactly where. I feel like they're very similar homeworks in that way.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I wonder if, and maybe in our next meeting, when we have a joint meeting, we could talk to the Vision Zero group as well about snow clearing and snow and how they've been so good and a lot of things that they've done. Maybe they can also kind of again work with us in that effort
as a safety issue.
Well,
absolutely.
One aspect of that is that they sit on a mountain of capability of analyzing data. They could this 2 weeks that we've just come through is kind of a natural experiment where this quantity of snow is very unusual, and what do the numbers say? Have there been more crashes, fewer crashes? more delays, fewer delays, da 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 da.
How many people have slipped on ice?
Right. Yeah.
I know so
which
many.
isn't reported.
No.
Emergency vehicle responses. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hospitalizations.
Anyway, that might be something to at least maybe utilize that. I mean, essentially that's part of what their goal is, safety. So,
Yep.
all right, let me, I guess I have one thing really quickly just to mention, and David, then I'm going to let you take things from there. But I just wanted to say that I'm on the Complete Streets Commission, and they're going to meet again on, and I think this is a in-person meeting on February 23rd, and we're going to be going over some nominated projects. So I guess my homework is to look over and have thoughts on potentially things to nominate. So. So I will be they will be meeting, and they meet like 4 or 5 times a year. So anybody else have anything? I see Peggy has. Well,
Yeah. I
yes,
just
go
want
ahead.
to say that the Commission on Aging is having a community engagement forum on the 16th of March. And I would like to send, once the flyer is completed, I would love to send a flyer to everyone. And this is going to be on transportation.
Oh, great.
Okay.
Is this the effort that Catalina has been working on?
Yes.
Okay. I think we were included a little bit at the beginning of this, and I don't know, Pam, you might have been engaged as well a little bit on this effort.
Initially, yeah, and I've kind of stepped back a little bit because it got much broader than what I had been experiencing.
Uh-huh.
So, and I can't really chime in on all the different things that they want to do.
But we look
Which is
forward
great.
to it.
Yeah.
Okay. It's going to be in Lover Run Community Center. And that's at 300 North Park Drive. But more information is forthcoming.
Okay.
Okay.
We're looking forward to it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And Don, I saw you light up a little bit. Did you have anything you want to say?
No.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah, I don't think there's anything new.
Okay, great. You know, thinking with your group is, you know, when we were talking about volunteer efforts, I wonder if you know, through civic associations, if that might be a way to, through that group, to at least present the thought about maybe looking at voluntary work, voluntary efforts during snow events or organizing within the civic associations.
Yeah, next meeting I'll ask the question, and I should have mentioned Barcroft has that too.
Oh.
Maybe not as formal as the others we've heard, but it's definitely a civic association led effort. I didn't see them on my street, but
I have an anecdote from where I live here in DC. I have a very active friend who's our neighborhood advisory neighborhood commissioner, and he championed this group of I think they're all boys, teenage boys, who made themselves available for hire to go clear walks and driveways. They made a ton of money. They made thousands of dollars.
wow.
Going door to door. I think some of the neighbors
But
must have been very generous and gave them a couple of $100
they
to
filled a
shovel
need.
the walk.
Mm.
So maybe the civic associations could try to marshal a fleet of youth to make themselves available for some extra money.
it's a good idea.
Thank you. David, I think we're at the point where I'm gonna open the rest up to you.
I'm going to be very brief. I've
Okay.
had plenty to say already tonight. I'm interested in fleshing out more the look ahead calendar that we began thinking about last month. This follows what my colleague Elwin Gonzalez has done for the Bicycle Advisory Committee, and just really helps them chart the whole year ahead. I'm being urged very strongly to do something like that for the Pedestrian Committee. We've made a start. I'd like to, I guess I can pop it in the chat and you all can take it home and think about how to flesh this out with just the kinds of things we were talking about. You know, reporting back on projects that are ongoing, engagement efforts, other committees that are doing things that we know about and want to participate in, etc. And as a second part of the, what do I call it? The outreach effort from Valerie Mosley that came to the Pedestrian Committee about enhancing the opportunities for engagement. The second part of that is getting back to regular reporting from our friends at Walk and Bike Arlington. So Mary DeLau and Lauren Hassel, who are both friends of this group, have divided their workload, and Mary is going to go on a regular quarterly basis to the Bicycle Advisory Committee and report on Bike Arlington, and Lauren is going to do the same for the Pedestrian Committee, starting next month, starting in March, and then come back quarterly. And in the interims, when they don't actually come to attend, they'll provide, I guess, me a report of their activities, so we can keep up to date with Bike and Walk Arlington. Again, it's sort of like splitting the difference between the treatment the committees used to get and kind of the leaner, meaner, not meaner, the leaner, cleaner way forward. And just to underscore, as another part of this budget season that we're in, it's very present in our work life, the pressure the county's under in the budget this year. Commercial real estate revenues are way down. Occupancies are way down, and so much of the county's revenue depends on tax income from commercial occupancy. So, you know, it's like, I don't want to say anything stupid, but we're being advised to be very careful about budget matters, and it's coming at us from a lot of directions. So just want to add that note of underscoring this budget season standing in a different stance than in the past. And even granting that, I mean, life goes on. I think our colleagues who have been working on Columbia Pike forever won an excellence award. I went looking for it before our meeting started. I couldn't actually find the press release, but I think they won an award for the efforts to underground the utilities and make Columbia Pike a more livable place.
More walkable.
More
mostly.
walkable. And as a component of that, the bicycle boulevards paralleling Columbia Pike, which are a very big challenge, are moving along. And my colleague Brian Shelton will come to this meeting in April to talk about the project he's working on, which is bike boulevards, complete streets, and the big the Barcroft redevelopment at Columbia Pike and George Mason.
Apartment.
The one that Pam had
Yes.
initially
Pam and
done.
Pam and Mike Hanna were the
Yes.
bike and ped reps to that
Yep.
group. Well, it's a big deal that's going on, and Brian works on the planning side of that with Kristen Calkins. As they spend a lot of time together because they're both working on the MTP update as well.
Well, I mean, it almost makes sense, though it probably can't happen so soon, but almost makes sense in the March meeting to maybe highlight both Brian Shelton's efforts and the Vision Zero, because we are going to be sitting down with the Bicycle Advisory Committee, and I think those are also important things to them as well. But it may be we're talking only 2.5 weeks from
Right.
now, so that may
It's-
be a
it's
little too short
soon.
notice.
I asked him about his availability, and he chose April. So I don't know
Okay.
what's up for him in March.
Okay.
Maybe
Okay.
it's a lot of MTP work. You already
Part
talked
of
about,
it could have been that he was thinking of our regular meeting date, which would be the advisory group meeting, and he's very involved with that. So obviously that would
yes.
be a conflict. So anyway,
Anyway, so I will share with you all the sort of skeletal look ahead calendar and be thinking about how we might flesh that out. I've put Lauren's appearances in there, and after the March joint meeting with the PAC, there are two others proposed for August and September. The September one is typical because their typical Monday would be Labor Day. So we meet on the PAC's Wednesday in September. And the August meeting, I forget what the joint issue is that's interesting in August. Anyway, I'll share that out with you all. And then one more thing. So Bob Capper from Parks Department, Park and Rec Department, came and presented to a joint meeting about Lower 4 Mile Run. I know he's advancing the plans to work on the Lower 4 Mile Run trail from sort of the 395 undercrossing by Shirlington all the way out to
the airport. Doesn't
doesn't go quite as far as the airport. It's minor adjustments, repaving, cleaning up turns, getting rid of some awkward stretches. It's a little bit constrained because that's a VDOT road, South Glebe. So there's only so much we can do in the counties right away. I think that's it for me. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Was there any other announcements? Pam, did you have something?
Something that came in very late that Cynthia forwarded. Let's see, the FNRC at their February meeting, which I think is the 26th, is going to be talking about the W&OD trail. And apparently there's been an agreement reached that's very positive.
Yes.
And I think that, this was like literally before I started signing in, was it Kevin is the WABA person?
Kevin
Yes.
O'Brien, yes.
Kevin O'Brien.
That he could come talk to the backpack about it. I don't know if it would be at the meeting in March or whatever, but it sounds like pretty exciting news and something that we're very happy about.
Yes.
Is this related to the issue with having to, I guess, move or pretty much make everythh barren where the
Clear cut the trees.
Yep.
Yeah.
Take out all the trees. Yep.
Right.
Bad trees.
There was a uniform resistance to that idea. They halted the chainsaws, and we haven't seen it yet, but the Dominion Energy and Nova Parks District have penciled a new memorandum of understanding or new memorandum of agreement for working together that doesn't involve clear cutting the trees. Haven't seen it yet.
Great. Yeah, I'd like to hear about that.
Yeah, that's important.
There's one thing I wanted to just ask you, David. Could you, you said you were going to put it in the chat, but could you just email everybody the planned, I guess what you're planning for from now to the end of the year?
Yes,
okay.
I can put it in the chat and send it. It's a simple spreadsheet, and in fact, here it is. It's sitting right here on my desktop, so I can just do this. See if this will post. It doesn't. See, because you all are not inside the county system, I can't actually share documents. I'll have to send it.
Okay, good.
All right. Well, we're right at 9:02. So just anybody have any final announcements?
Just one final thing to just say it again. Eric, you will speak with Cynthia about making the joint meeting on March 2nd.
Okay. Yes.
Okay. So then I can relay that decision to Kristen and the MTP people. They'll be very happy about that.
Yep.
All right. And Ambar, sorry, don't mean to. Do you want to be a joint chair with Cynthia, or would you like me to take that? Is that a date that you would not be able to attend?
No, the second works. Yeah,
Okay.
happy to do that. I think yeah, maybe we can communicate on email or we can chat later. I can just understand what the different tasks are that need to be
Okay.
done.
Okay. What we might be able to do is also set up a conference call with Cynthia as well.
Right. And does the back have a vice chair? Is that Dana?
I believe
Yep.
that is
Yep.
Dana Bress.
Okay. Okay.
So,
Okay.
thank you, everyone. It's been a very, very productive meeting. I just want to say thank you for everybody who's volunteering for different things. It's very appreciated.
Yeah.
Thank you. Have a great week.
And
Thank
thank
you
you,
all.
David and Amber
Okay.
and Jim, for volunteering
Yeah,
for rotating chair positions.
We
That's
should
great.
call
Good
it,
night.
we should call it swivel chairs.
Bye now.
All right. Take
Thank you
care,
so much.
everyone.
Take care.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Good night.